don't know. Can you hear that? I don't know if the mic's picking that up, but Wednesday is snoring. Oh my god, she's too cute. Cats, am I right? My name is Aaliyah and welcome to the House Beyond the Hedge. Today we are going to be doing a book haul video, which I'm really excited about because I went to one of my favorite antique stores yesterday and I found a lot of books. They had a killer collection of 80s, 90s, a couple of early 2000s, decor, lifestyle, gardening, cookbooks, you name it. So I have a huge stack. Most of these are from yesterday, and then a couple were from a previous trip that I had made, but actually from the same store. So I am excited to share them all with you. I don't know if 90s lifestyle decor books are also something that you are into, but I love them so much. Like I said, there are a lot of them, so I'm going to try and go through them pretty quickly so we're not taking too long on this whole video. I hadn't planned to do this video today, but because I just got this big haul yesterday, I really wanted to share them with you. So let's get started, I think. So the first book I'm going to share with you is called Designers in Residence, The Personal Style of Top Women Decorators and Designers. And in addition to just having those kind of late 90s, early 2000s decor vibes, which I'm very into, major cottagecore vibes here, this book was put together by the editors of Victoria magazine. And if you don't know what Victoria magazine is, it is a really awesome, very cottagecore, sort of old-fashioned-y, lovely, romantic style magazine or decor magazine. It's still in print today, but my favorite is the older issues, like from the 90s. I have a little bit of a collection of them. You can buy them on eBay or that kind of thing if you're into that and want to check them out. But I really love those magazines, and so the fact that this book was put together by the editors of those is the reason that I decided to pick it up. So this is what it looks like. Just got those major cottagecore, a little bit of shabby chic in there, which shabby chic and just like straight cottagecore aren't really my style anymore in terms of my own decorating. I sort of have taken a little bit of a, I don't know, darker turn, if you might say, in terms of color palette and that kind of thing. But I still really love those styles and I really love to look at books of them. So I was really excited about that. These are basically in no particular order. I just have a huge stack of them. So it's not like all the decor books and then all the gardening books or whatever. But the next one I have is actually from an antique store that was next door to the antique store that I usually go to, which is kind of a bigger, rambling antique store called The Iron Horse, which I have been going to since I was a little kid because when I was in kindergarten, I was really good friends with the daughter of the guy that owns it, and he still owns it, and now there's 2 locations, and it is still literally my favorite antique store to go to. It just has such a good selection. They bring in their own items, but also they do have some different seller sort of booths within it, kind of like an antique mall, but it doesn't feel like an antique mall. It feels much more like just a cohesive space, I feel like. And it just has a really cozy vibe. So I love going there. But this was actually from another antique store that was next door called Trivia Antiques. And it is Rose Gardens by Jane Fearnley Whittingstall. It's quite the name. And it's just a really lovely gardening book about rose gardens. It has color illustrations as well as a lot of information and those kinds of layout drawings. And it just has different information about rose gardens as well as kind of the history of them, which is cool. So I'm really excited about that. Really, really lovely illustration on the cover. Couldn't be more thrilled. So next is actually a whole collection of cookbooks, and they are by a man named Lee Bailey, who I had never heard of, but in researching him, I discovered that he was basically like Martha before Martha was. He was kind of one of the first people to really combine cooking and lifestyle / decor into one thing and sort of include it all in the book. So in addition to recipes, the books also have, here's the setting that you could, you know, eat this recipe in. Here's a collection of recipes for this specific kind of dinner or to take on a picnic. And then also has a lot of pictures of, you know, what that looks like, which it very, very much has that like 80s, 90s whimsical country vibe, and I'm super excited about it. And there was a whole collection of these. So there are 6 of them by the same author. And yeah, I just thought that was really cool that he's kind of a big deal, but I had never heard of him. And so I'm excited to get these books. So we have Lee Bailey's New Orleans, Good Food and Glorious Houses. And I'm especially thrilled about this one because I'm actually going to New Orleans like almost basically a week from now. I'm going for a work conference, but it'll be my first time going there. So I'm really super excited about that. So yeah, you can kind of see, this is kind of the style of it. So there's recipe pictures, recipes, and then as well as decor and setting for eating the meals. And because this one is about New Orleans, it has pictures of houses and locations in New Orleans. So that is really cool, I think, and I'm excited to read through this. Okay, so the next one is Lee Bailey's Southern Food and Plantation Houses. Now, plantation stuff can be very problematic, as is obvious why. The history there is not great in our country, but it is a part of our country's history. So this kind of book, which all of the recipes are kind of set and based on different plantation houses, I probably would never buy this now, but because it was just part of this collection, it was like $2. I just went ahead and got it to see like what the recipes and stuff were. But just, you know, you have to be careful with this kind of thing because you don't want to be romanticizing plantations in that way. Feels a little bit like that, but it's really more about the food. So I went ahead and grabbed it anyway. Bourbon mint ice cream. How could you not want that? But my favorite thing about this one is that it has somebody's notes in it on this letterhead from Hotel Provincial, or Provincial, if you pronounce it that way, which is in New Orleans. So clearly this person actually went to New Orleans with these books, or took these notes and then kept them in here for reference. But it has the person's itinerary, which I love when old books have things in them that you can find. It's really cool. So this is somebody's itinerary. So it's like they arrived in New Orleans, 4 p.m., checked into hotel, dinner at Acme Oyster Bar, fresh oysters and shrimp. My favorite thing about these notes is that they specify what they ate at different places. I love this one. Pat O'Brien's for Hurricanes and Singing. Pat discovered hurricanes. I bet they did. But yeah, I just thought that was really fun. I have no idea. This doesn't have a date or anything, so I have no idea when this person went to this. They were watching HBO though, so must not have been that long ago. Here's a nice one. Nice room at Quality Inn, pizza on bed and wine, and good movie via HBO, Goodfellas. Anyway, that's kind of a fun little extra, and maybe I'll like look at what restaurants they went to see if any of them are still there. So yeah, that was just in this book. Next one is Lee Bailey's Country Weekends, Recipes for Good Food and Easy Living. And this one is actually signed by the author, which is really fun. I love it when you get used books and they're signed by the author. It's just an extra bonus. The Weekend Defined is like a whole spread of just a photo on the porch. And then these different sections have, you know, a group of recipes, a menu that goes with them. Next we have Lee Bailey's Long Weekends, Recipes for Good Food and Easy Living. And then Lee Bailey's Soup Meals, Main Event Soups in Year-Round Menus. So this one's kind of fun if you like soup because it is just all soup focused. There are additional menu items to go with the soup, but all of menus are based on a soup. So turkey and vegetable soup lunch. And then the last one is Lee Bailey's California Wine Cooking. This one has a McCormick and Schmick seafood restaurant menu. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this, but I think it's fun, so I'm gonna leave it in there. And let me just give you an idea of what the photos of this one. So here is an elegant dinner at the winery at Monticello Cellars. So yeah, I think these are really fun, and some of the recipes look really good, so I'll probably try making them. But also I just really enjoy the lifestyle lifestyle decor aspect that goes with the meals. It's not just here's a dish you can make. It's here's the whole setting that you can eat this in, a menu to create an experience. And I really enjoy that, especially when you're looking at a book. It makes it a lot more fun. The lady who checked me out at the store was like, "Oh, do you really like to cook?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, but also I just really like books." And she was like, "Oh, okay." But I will definitely be making recipes from these too. Let me just read you a little bit about this guy. Okay, let me just read you a little bit of this article called "Why Lee Bailey, the Original Home Entertainer, Still Matters. Before Ina and Martha, the cookbook and lifestyle guru showed America how to throw a party." And this is by Julia Thurston. Lee Bailey was the original food and lifestyle guru. Writing and photographing in a pre-Martha Stewart world, he was a pioneer in suggesting that a meal's setting was just as important as the food. The way you layered sliced tomatoes on a plate mattered, and that a bandana might be used to cradle bread, fruit, and cheese on the way to a picnic, then do double duty as a placemat. He was, as the New York Times summed it up in his 2003 obituary, an expert in the stylish life. And he did all sorts of different things. He designed dishware and became a shopkeeper. He sold house goods at his own shop and at Bendel's on Fifth Avenue. And rounding out his lifestyle expertise, he was an avid gardener. Yeah, so, I mean, I think saying he was kind of Martha before Martha is just the perfect way to put it. But if you're the kind of person that, you know, really loves to either create or imagine the perfect setting when you're making meals, these books are kind of the perfect books for that, but also have that really 80s, 90s kind of feeling to them, which is very nostalgic and I love it. So I'm excited about those. Okay, up next we have The Art of Flower Arranging, which I don't really do a lot of flower arranging. It's not something that I have done as a hobby or anything in my life, but this book is just too good to pass up. It has different themed bouquets that you can make. It has how to dry flowers, basically everything that you might want to do to arrange flowers. It also has different crafts you can do. So for example, here is, you can apply dried flowers to, this is enamelware or top of a box here. So it's kind of cool to just have all these different crafts. It's a lot more than just arranging them in bouquets. So I thought that was really fun. And this one is by Jan Hall and Sarah Waterkin. And this one has a little inscription in it. Happy Mother's Day 93. Show me some of your creations when you get done. Love, Janet. I just think it is so special when books have history that come with it. You can buy a new book. They also have a, you know, kind of that fresh book feeling, which is nice, but I love getting used books that have inscriptions from people I don't know written in them. Or for example, in the Lee Bailey books where there's just notes from the person or a brochure from somewhere they went. I love that kind of thing. I think it makes it so interesting and it just really makes the book feel like it has history, which I love. Okay, we're just cruising right along here. Up next is Gardens of Britain, A Historic View by Patrick Taylor. And I'm just getting super into gardening. Well, it's too early to garden here yet, but I'm doing a lot of thinking about gardening. I started watching this show called Gardener's World, which is a British show. You can watch it on BritBox, and oh my god, it's like the best thing ever. It's so just relaxing and lovely and British, and the hosts are all great, especially Monty, the main host, is just such a pleasant man, and he always has his cute dogs that go around the garden with him. And I'm learning a ton of practical stuff about gardening as well, so I've been watching a ton of that lately and I am loving it. I highly recommend if you have BritBox. So yeah, I'm kind of, in addition to gardening, I'm kind of on sort of a British English gardening kick, so I was really excited to find this Gardens of Britain book. And as you can see, it has pictures of castles, which is awesome. It has just, oh my gosh, so atmospheric. And then, of course, lovely flowers. And this one isn't so much how to garden necessarily. It's showing different gardens in Britain. And the sort of traditional English garden style where it's like a cottage garden where just the flowers are everywhere and it's not very restrained. I love that look. So I'm hoping to replicate some of that in my garden as well. Gosh, pile's getting out of control. Okay, so the next one is not really a lifestyle or cooking or decorating or gardening book, but I had this book quite a while ago, and I gave it to a friend who I thought would really enjoy it. And I don't regret doing that at all, but then when I saw this one for $2, I was like, all right, I'm gonna pick this up again. So I have it in my collection once more. And it is A Pictorial History of the Carousel by Frederick Fried. Yeah, so it's just really cool history of the carousel, like it says. If you're interested in sort of vintage circus stuff, carnival stuff, anything in that realm, then this book is definitely a must-have. Most of the images are in black and white. There are some in color, so I think it would probably be better if all the images were in color, but it's still a really cool and interesting book, and I was really glad to find that again. All right, next up we have Classic English Interiors by Henrietta Spencer Churchill. And if you didn't know this about me, besides the gardening thing, I'm also just really into England. No, that's my jam. British history, English decor, all of that are things that I love. So I was really hyped about this one. I mean, come on. And this book has just different sections all about different parts of decor. So like here's a page even just about coffee tables and footstools, which... Coffee tables and footstools are important, and I have a lot of them. So there's also definitely more of kind of the cottagecore decor vibes too in this book, which is great. And then also has some outdoor sort of garden stuff. So yeah, I was definitely very happy to pick this one up. All of these books were between $2 and $6. I know for sure all of the cooking ones were $2 each. The carousel one was $2. I think a few of the others were $6, but altogether it was still a really good deal for all of these books. Now I just need to figure out where to put them all. The perpetual problem of the book collector. Where do you put new books when you buy them? Constantly running out of space. All right, the next one is another decorating book, and this one is the Laura Ashley Guide to Country Decorating. If you know Laura Ashley, you know that serious cottagecore vibes there. Laura Ashley florals are basically the most cottagecore thing ever. So this book definitely has a lot of that in it. But it also has different styles too. Here's a little bit more Mediterranean feeling one. It just has all sorts of different decorating, how to make a rug from rags. So there's even like crafts and things you can do in here, which I think is really neat. I definitely am a big fan of decor books. I will just read them through, like not even just browse, but actually like read the whole book. The Victoria edited one I read almost all of yesterday after I got home from buying these. So I definitely just love a good essentially picture book with information about the different settings in it. But also it's really cool when they have different activities or crafts you can do that kind of fit in with the book. So I think that's fun. Here's even a page on different paint techniques. So this is definitely a very broad range of decor stuff. Oh, here's some pages about herb stuff, which I love me some herbs. And yeah, like I said, Laura Ashley has a very distinct vibe, style, whatever you want to call it. If you like Laura Ashley, then you like Laura Ashley. And this is a hefty book, and I am really stoked to have gotten this for like $6 or whatever it was. So original price, $35. So those were all the ones that I bought yesterday from the antique stores. The last two that I'm going to show you, one is from the Iron Horse as well that I got on a different trip. And then one I actually bought intentionally because I read about it in an old 90s Victoria magazine. But I'm going to show it to you as well because I think it really goes with just this grouping of books. So the next one that I am going to show you is along the theme of English style, which you already know that I love. So it is called Bringing It Home England, The Ultimate Guide to Creating the Feeling of England in Your Home. And this one is by Cheryl McLaughlin. And this is just another English sort of decor style book. It has different things like how to set the table. It has different ideas of how to decorate based on English style. I believe this is from a collection of books, Bringing It Home, and then there's different ones. So there's like Bringing It Home Scotland. I'm not really sure to what extent what all the different options are, but I'm pretty sure this is a whole series. So I might be keeping my eye out for the other ones in this series, especially Bring It Home Scotland. I would love to have that one. I've been doing a lot of ancestry research lately, and the majority of my heritage, as you probably could guess by looking at me, is England, Scotland, Ireland. You know, those are kind of the main ones. Oh, Germany, and I think France was the other one. So kind of just that whole grouping of countries in the UK and Europe is where pretty much almost all of my heritage is from. So I don't know if that really makes a difference, but I loved England and stuff before I knew that. But Britain is the biggest section of that. So I don't know if that like justifies it, if I can be obsessed with England, if my ancestors are from there, if that makes it more okay, but it is what it is. And this one has some garden stuff in it as well. And I bought this one for $3 and original price was $40. Okay, the last one is, like I mentioned, one that I saw referenced in an old Victoria magazine, and I was like, I think I need to own that. So I intentionally got it, not just I stumbled across it at the antique store. And it is called Keeping Eden, A History of Gardening in America. And this is by the Massachusetts Horticultural Society. And I just think it is so cool. It's so extensive about the history of gardening in America. Even though I'm super into England, obviously I live in America, and so I think it is fun to know about the history of gardening here as well. And yeah, it really is very thorough. So it has different styles, it has different eras. Here's a section about Western expansion. It's really a pretty complete history of gardening here, as well as just having super lovely pictures. Here's a photo of another book, old book about gardening. So there's a section on American horticultural books as well, so that's fun. You could try and find some of those old books. So yeah, that is the last one that I had, I think. I hope you enjoyed going through this haul with me. You should have seen me carrying these out of the antique store yesterday. It is a lot of books. Let's see if I can... Well, there's two on here, I guess, that weren't on there yesterday, but get my workout. God, oh God, that's heavy. So I hope you enjoyed going through these with me. I'm gonna have such a fun time reading and looking through them. Like I said, I often will just like read through the whole book, but even if I don't do that, I love to flip through them, look at the pictures, read the captions, and hopefully I will try some of the recipes out from the cookbooks. And yeah, I just feel like there's so many pretty pictures. I'm gonna learn a lot. Lovely cottagecore vibes, English cottage vibes, all of the things that I love. So I'm very, very excited to have scored this huge haul. I can't remember what my total was for all of them, but I want to say it was between like $30 and $40. I think that's a really good deal for the amount of very large hardback color illustration books that I got. And I just love giving old books a new life, you know? Not that I never buy new books, I totally do, but I just love the feeling of finding cool vintage books. I mean, I know these are only from the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, but that's vintage now. If you look online at like clothes, if clothes from the 90s are vintage, which makes me feel very old. But that being said, these books belong to me now, and you'll have to pry them out of my cold dead fingers. Thank you so much for looking through all of them with me. I hope maybe you saw one that you liked. Maybe this inspired you to go out and try and find one used. Let me know in the comments if there was a specific one that you thought you were most excited about or you would most want to try and buy. I'm really curious to see which ones people enjoyed the most. There's a pretty wide range, so I'm hoping there's something kind of in this collection for most people who would be watching this video. And yeah, I'm hoping to do more decorating and gardening this coming summer in my new house. So if you want to follow along with that to see what I'm up to, you can follow me at House Beyond the Hedge on Instagram and TikTok. I also have a Twitter and a Twitch, which I will put down below. You can follow me there. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I will try and create more content like this soon. Thanks again for spending this time with me. Remember to keep the kettle warm, and I will see you next time.